Dear children, now we are going to discuss about plant regeneration pathway. So various method in which how the tissue culture can be done we have seen. So among this plant regeneration pathway, we can see some of the method. We can take explant. Explant means the tissue or cell or organ which are taken up from the plant are called as explant. That means we can take up meristem or shoot apex. The tip of the shoot or root which are having meristem. If you remove the meristem, we can able to produce virus-free plant. So the plant which is virus free from virus can be produced with the help of the explant is obtained from either meristem or shoot apex. Then if you are producing the explant from stem, especially the node is having a lot of bud cells. So which can be able to produce multiple shoot in formation can be done, the micropropagation. Then the node cell will be cultured in culture medium, root induction. Then after formation of root induction, plant roots will be produced, then hardening, transfer of the field. So lot of micropropagation can be done with the help of stem node, which will be producing multiple shoot formation in the callus. A single callus which can be able to produce plenty of shoot. This is called multiple shoot formation, which can be done as micropropagation. Then if you are using leaf, root, callus, everything, if you are directly you can use then to produce if it is producing embryo directly, then this is called direct embryogenesis. Then these are called as embryos. We should not call as embryo. We should call it because it is artificial embryo, so it is called as embryos. Then plant roots will be formed, then hardening, then transfer to the field. So this is called direct method. So indirect method is also there. That means we can collect the callus. Direct method means we can collect the material from direct plant. But indirect method is also there. That means we can collect callus from tissue culture laboratory. This callus will be producing shoot induction. If it is producing shoot induction, which is called as collagenesis, then afterwards root induction may be formed. So if the production of root is produced or root induction is formed, this will be called as rhizogenesis. Then both shoot and root is formed, then plant root will be formed. Then if that hardening to be done, then transfer to the field. So this is a chart, a flow chart which will be given an idea about direct embryogenesis as well as indirect embryogenesis, how virus-free plant can be produced. Similarly, multiple shoot formation can also be done. So this is flow chart method. So diagrammatic method is also available here. That is also we can able to see. See here, this is plant. So these plant cell, if you are obtained, this is called as explant. From this explant, if it is culture, it is called direct somatic embryogenesis. Otherwise, if it is explant is producing callus, this is present in the laboratory. If you are obtaining this callus, from this callus, they can be producing root organogenesis. This is called as rhizogenesis, and shoot organogenesis. This is called as collagenesis. Then rooting, shooting is formed, then plant root is produced. This is called indirect organogenesis. Directly if it is producing, direct organogenesis. If it is producing from callus, it is indirect organogenesis. So this is the plant regeneration pathway. From this callus, it is diagrammatically a flow chart is given. From this callus, if it is differentiated, if it is producing shoot, it is called as collagenesis. If it is producing root, it is called as rhizogenesis. Then plant root will be produced. So organogenesis can be induced in vitro. In vitro means in test tube or conical flask, introducing plant growth regulators like auxin and cytokinins in the MS medium. Auxin and cytokinin induce shoot and root formation. So these hormones are phytohormones which will be stimulating cell division, cell elongation, root induction and shoot induction can be done with the help of this. Do you understand? Now we are going to see about somatic embryogenesis. These are all the processes are called as somatic embryogenesis. So usually embryo will be formed after fusion of male and female gamete together to form zygote. Zygote will be developed into embryo. It is regular embryo. But this is artificial in somatic way, in vegetative method. So that is why it is called as somatic embryogenesis. If the embryo is obtained or embryos are obtained from plant cells through tissue culture, then this is called as somatic embryogenesis. So somatic embryogenesis is the formation of embryos from the callus tissue directly, and these embryos are called embryoids, or from the in vitro cells directly form pre-embryonic cells which differentiate into embryoids. Then what are the uses? What are the applications? Somatic embryogenesis provides potential plantlet which a hardening period can be established into plant. So somatic embryo can be directly we can able to harden step by step method very quickly. Somatic embryoids can be used as the production of synthetic seed. So artificial seeds can be prepared. How can we prepare artificial seeds? Suppose if it is producing embryo or embryoids, the embryoids to be encapsulated with gelling material like agarose gel or various chemicals to be used to protect around these embryoids. That should be kept in aseptic condition. This will be kept for a long period. Whenever you need, you can use as a culture medium. Then it is acting like a seed, artificial seed. So that is why it is called as synthetic seed or artificial seed or syn seed. Somatic embryogenesis is now reported in many plants like Allium sativum. Allium sativum means garlic. Hordeum vulgare. Hordeum vulgare means what do you call it? A white color wheat variety. Barley, you know. Do you know about barley? Which is similar to white color wheat. It is looking like white color wheat, but it is barley. Oryza sativum, paddy. Z maize plant. And this is possible in any plant nowadays. Somatic embryogenesis is possible in any types of chemical. So the artificial seeds can be done. These embryos are encapsulated with the help of a specialized material called agarose gel or calcium alginate. Either you can use calcium alginate or agarose gel. These can be preserved for a long time. This is called as artificial seed or synthetic seed or syn seed. Next we are going to see very important question, applications of plant tissue culture. What is the use of this plant tissue culture? What are the advantages of this plant tissue culture? That we are going to discuss today. Plant tissue culture techniques have several applications such as improved hybrid production through somatic hybridization can be done. Improved hybrids can be produced. Somatic embryos can be encapsulated into synthetic seed, artificial seed or syn seed or synthetic seeds by encapsulated these embryos with the help of agarose gel or calcium alginate chemical material. With the help of it we can able to produce artificial seed. Then production of disease resistant plant through meristem or shoot tip culture. Virus free plant can be produced with the help of plant tissue culture. Production of stress resistant plant like herbicide tolerant, heat tolerant plant can be prepared. Once if you produce about the gene which is incorporated in the DNA recombinant technology, herbicide tolerant gene, if you introduce, then what happens? That tissue, that recombinant DNA, if it is transferred into tissue culture, they can be developed into new plant which is having herbicide tolerance. Similarly, heat tolerant plants also can be produced through plant tissue culture. Micropropagation techniques to obtain large number of plantlets to be both crops and tree species usually in forestry. So, multiple shoot formation can be done with the help of plant tissue culture. This will be very much useful in the industry of forestry because forestry need lot of plants to produce within short period of time, even in throughout the year. But tissue culture, but normally if you if you are able to prepare a plant in a nursery bed, you need lot of water, or particularly in the rainy season you can able to produce. But tissue culture can be done anytime, any day, throughout the year. So this is a special advantages about the micropropagation techniques through plant tissue culture. So production of secondary metabolites from the cell culture, utilization of pharmaceutical, cosmetics, food industries are also used the secondary metabolites for their utilization. There are two important differences. What do you mean by somoclonal variation, gametoclonal variation? Somoclonal variation means the plant which are produced by somatic production. Gametoclonal variation means the new plant which is producing by the fusion of male and female gametes to produce zygote, the zygote to produce embryo. That will be producing variation. So somatic variation found in plant regeneration in vitro, various found in leaf, stem, root, tuber, propagate, these are called as somoclonal variation. Gametoclonal variation, gametophytic variation found in plant regenerated in vitro of gametic origin. Variation found in gametes and gametophytes. This is called as gametoclonal variation. Now we are going to see another concept is called as micropropagation of banana. So banana usually we can able to produce by underground rhizome. The underground rhizome can able to produce as many number of plantlets which will be having a single banana plant. But this is also can be done by micropropagation technique as well. So micropropagations of plant at industrial level maintain high standards of homogeneity, all are having uniform shape, size, colors, and everything will be uniform. That is the homogeneity in plant like pineapple, banana, strawberry, and potato. Now we are going to see the how the micropropagation can be done in banana plant. So these are all a banana plant, a small banana plantlet through tissue culture or micropropagation. These are all plantlets which is formed from tissues. This is medium. From this medium, small plantlets will be formed. These plantlets is hardening. After hardening, it is transferred into the soil. Now it is called as micropropagations of banana. How the micropropagations can be done? In order to do the micropropagation in vitro, there is plant tissue culture. In vitro micropropagations of banana can be done. Musa paradisiaca or Musa species. The suckers means underground rhizome to be collected. Sucker surface to be sterilized. The sucker surface to be sterilized, that should be free from microorganisms with 1% sodium hypochlorite solution, NaOCl, for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes, we have to wash with sodium hypochlorite solution, 1% sodium hypochlorite solution. That will make the suckers which will be free from microorganisms. Then the apical meristem of the sucker to be used. The apical meristem were isolated. Why do we use apical meristem? If you are using apical meristem, which can be producing a plant which is free from virus. Apical meristem were isolated and cultured in Morassic and Scoop medium, MS medium, to be used. Supplemented, the MS medium is supplemented with a specialized chemical, specialized what do you call phytohormone called benzyl aminopurine (BAP) for 10 mg per liter and indolacetic acid (AXIL) IAE 1 mg per liter to be prepared in MS medium. Then induction of shoot within 168 days. Then what happened? If the sterilized plant sucker, if it is transferred into the medium, after 168 days, they can develop into new shoot like this. So this will be producing a shoot like this. Then kinetin means cytokinin, which will be stimulating cell division. So kinetin 2 mg per liter and naphthalene acetic acid. It is artificial AXIL NaA. 0.5 mg per liter for root initiation. So this is stimulating root formation. So in order to form root initiation, we can use cytokinin like kinetin, axin like NAE, naphthalene, acetic acid. Then acclimatization, polyhouse. Then after root formation, that to be transferred to polyhouse. In the polyhouse, there can be acclimatization. Acclimatization means they can be adapted to the polyhouse. Polyhouse is in intermediate between our tissue culture laboratory and the outer open area. Then followed by shadows. After polyhouse, that to be kept in shadow house under 50% of light for hardening process. After tested for genetic uniformity, if it is genetically uniform, then it is transferred to field. So this is the micropropagation protocol for banana plant. Next we are going to see about artificial seed. Already we discussed in detail about artificial seed. Once again we shall see about what is artificial seed. It's very important. 3 mark question. Artificial seed or synthetic seed or syn seed, all are same, are produced by using embryos, somatic embryo obtained through tissue culture or in vitro culture. They may be even derived from single cell from any part of the plant. They later divide to form a cell mass containing dense cytoplasm, large nucleus, starch grains, proteins and oils, etc. To prepare artificial seed, different inert materials are used for coating these embryos. This embryo to be encapsulated with the help of a different type of artificial material, inert material to be surrounded with a specialized chemical called agarose or sodium alginate can be used for encapsulating the embryos. These can be kept in a particular condition, in xerophic condition, in a control condition. This will be used as artificial seed. At any time, we can use for culture. So this is called artificial seed. What is the advantages of artificial seed? Artificial seeds have many advantages over true seeds. It is better than true seeds. How? Millions of artificial seeds can be produced at any time at low cost. Within a short period of time, huge amount of seeds can be produced at very cheap and best. So at low cost we can able to prepare. So this is embryo. This embryo is encapsulated with the inert material. Either this is agarose gel or calcium alginate material. So inside embryo are present. These embryos are preserved by encapsulating this artificial method. So this is called artificial seed. These artificial seed, they provide an easy method to produce genetically engineered plant with desirable traits. So normal genes you cannot be able to produce genetically modified, but here we can be able to genetically modify or genetically engineer or whatever you want a particular character. Suppose if you want a delicious fruit, big size of fruit, large size of fruit, huge number of fruit, more amount of fruits to be produced in your own mango plant. What happened? These artificial seeds, that is called desirable traits. So desirable traits can be produced in artificial seed. It is easy to test for genotypic plant. The genotype of plant can be easily tested with the help of genetic method. They can potentially store for a long time under cryopreservation. These can be preserved for a long time, even 200 years, by cryopreservation. What is cryopreservation? Cryopreservation is a specialized techniques in which we can be able to preserve certain plant material like seeds, pollen grains, this type of plant tissues or artificial seed in low temperatures such as minus 196 degrees Celsius in liquid nitrogen condition. That is called cryopreservation. In cryopreservation, if we keep this artificial seed, we can preserve for a very, very long time. Artificial seeds produce identical plant. All plants will be similar characteristic features. That means, if you plant a seed, the mango, which will be either similar to a parent plant or which will be dissimilar. But artificial seed, whatever you want to do the desirable type, that desirable type can be produced. All the plants are having uniform in nature. Such a type of plants can be prepared by artificial seed. The period of dormancy of artificial seed is greatly reduced. What is dormancy? Dormancy is a sleeping condition of seed. Suppose if you are planting a seed inside the soil, if it is producing a sapling, a small plant, now it is viable. Sometime they might not viable. Even 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. Even after 3 days, they will not germinate. Even after 1 week, they will not germinate. Even after 1 month, they will not germinate. Even after 1 year, they might not germinate. This is called dormancy. This dormancy is very common in common seed, but in artificial seed, this dormancy is completely absent or reduced. Greatly reduced. Hence, growth is faster with shorter life cycle. So, this is a great advantage about artificial seed. Now we are going to see about what is the protocol for virus-free plant can be prepared. Already we discussed. If you are taking meristem, shoot tip or root tip, especially shoot tip if you take, if you culture the shoot tip as an explant, then they can develop into new plant by tissue culture. These are free from virus. So this is a plant which can be free from virus. The field grown plant like perennial crops. Perennial means which can be grown up for a long years. If it is grown for 1 year, annual plants. If it is grown for 2 years, it is biennial plant. If it is living for more than 2 years, these are called as perennial plant. So the field grown up plant like a perennial crop usually are infected by various types of pathogens like fungus, bacteria, mycoplasma, viruses, which cause considerable economic loss to people. That is why we have to prepare a plant which is free from microorganisms. Chemical method can be used to control fungal or bacterial pathogen, but not virus completely. Virus is not possible to remove by chemical method. So in order to produce a plant free from virus, so this is the only method. Then what should be done? Shoot meristem tip culture is a method to produce virus-free plant. Because the shoot meristem tip is always free from virus. That is why we can use the shoot tips or meristem to be used as a explant. Okay, what is the protocol can be used? Apical meristem, that means shoot tip, with 1 or 2 leaves primordia are excised in sterile condition from the explant. 1 or 2 leaf primaria. Primaria means leaf primaria is a small tip. Under the tip, we can collect some tissue. This is meristematic tissue. In vitro culture, 10 ml of solid MS medium, boracic scoop medium supplemented with growth hormone like auxin and cytokinin to be added. Cultures are maintained at 24 plus or minus 1 degree. That means 23 to 25 degrees Celsius to be maintained in dark for 3 days, followed by normal illumination of 2400 lux intensity of light to be supplied. Next, plantlet will be developed. Plantlets develop from the meristem tips culture after organogenesis. Organogenesis means formation of root and shoot. Then organogenesis process is completed, transfer the hardening process. After hardening process is completed, then transfer to the field condition. So this is a protocol to be followed for virus-free meristem culture.